Hi everyone, Tally and Farrell here from Bored of It, and welcome to our review of Tinner's Trail, the third and oldest Martin Wallace game that we have reviewed. Martin Wallace is best known for Brass Birmingham and more recently Anno 1800, both of which are economic board game powerhouses of design.
In Tinner's Trail, for 1 to 5 players, you'll become the Cornish mining industry, and with that, you'll want to make the big bucks. So you'll want to hopefully buy the most profitable mines, i.e. ones with the most tin and copper. Then you'll want to extract that metal at the right time when prices are soaring. Now, this is a game with auction mechanics, randomness, and limited communal resources, which means that it's sure to create some spectacular arguments. But you might be wondering, why are we reviewing an old game?
Well, Tinner's Trail has just had a gorgeous reprint by Alley Cat Games, which we picked up due to our Martin Wallace love. But is it better than Brass Birmingham or Anno 1800?
No, it's obviously not better than number 3 highest rated board game of all time. Which changes the question to, is it worth your time? Well, grab a Cornish pasty, sit down and relax as you find out. Tinner's Trail begins with a tantalising board full of mine tokens. Most of these are face down, but some have their contents revealed. And each of these tokens will tell you the amount of tin, copper and water in that region. To own a mine, players will take the auction token, place it on their region of interest, and then start a bidding war with the player who bids the highest winning that region. And then they will put their mine on it, flip and see what they've got, and then add the relevant resources. Now, players can also peek at some of these face down tokens by playing special cards from their hand, which let them get an edge on the opposition. However, they also have a little reward that goes to whoever wins the bid. Once you've built your mine, you can extract the metal. But water provides a serious problem because the more water there is, the more it costs per cube of metal to extract. No water, completely free to extract. So to solve this problem, the game gives you a variety of components. Some will increase the amount of metal you can take out at once. Some will get rid of water. Most will do both. So you've got steam pumps, miners, trains, boats, and adits. Once all players have spent all 10 of their action points, the round will end, and all metal that they have extracted will be converted into money. The price of metal will fluctuate round to round because it's decided by the roll of a dice at the beginning of a round. Then players have the chance to convert this money into victory points. But the earlier the round, the more victory points you get for the same amount of money. The twist being that of course you'll need to keep back money to build mines and also maybe to extract metal from mines with water. So you have a big decision to make of how much to spend, how much to keep back. You'll play 4 rounds, and when the 4th round is over, whichever player has the most victory points will of course, as always, be the winner.
What's really great about Tinner's Trail is despite the fact it's an older game, playing it for the first time now, it still feels pretty fresh. Bidding on an unknown reward in a dry Euro game? Who would do such a thing? But it's the randomness of the mines which make this such a robust and interactive game. The games can play out very differently, despite the fact there's only really a small number of actions that you can do. And in a weird way, Tinner's Trail reminds us most of the Iron Rails series of games, namely Irish Gauge, in that it's simple to teach and learn, but what really shapes the game is the way the players interact with each other.
And while we wouldn't say it's the easiest game, we do think it's a great step-up game. Because yeah, there are a number of actions here, but in reality, you're only going to be learning 4. You're going to be learning how to auction for mines, extract metal, sell Cornish pasties, and take components. And although there's a lot of components, they all only do one of 2 things. They either give you increased mining capacity, or they remove water from the mine. And what level they do that to is handily printed right here on the board. Or if you have an experienced player, it's really very easy to say the mine just increases it by 1, or the train takes 2, It's just very simple and quick to say it. It's not complex.
The action point system is an incredibly fun design. Each action or component has an action point cost. Taking a boat will cost you 2 action points, and taking a miner will only cost you 1. And this is done by moving your token up the track. When you're in last place, it means that it's your turn, so players can have multiple turns in a row. Interestingly, it doesn't cost you action points to start an auction, but it costs you once you've won that auction. So it means that players can tactically start auctions on spaces that they know other players might want in an attempt to rinse them of money and action points. One of the main crunch points of Tinner's Trail is the constant stress of balancing what you need to do with dwindling action points. Yes, the edit might do big things for your mine, but it's going to cost you 3 action points, and the other players can get a lot done in the time that it takes to get back around to your turn. Usually, you wouldn't want randomness in a Euro game, but here it's a revelation. Sure, luck might cost you the game, but it's well worth it for the drama and fun that it provides. Nothing is funnier than having players having a raging bidding war for a mine, only to then flip it over and discover that it has 4 water and only 1 metal. Nothing is more thrilling than leaving metal in your mind till the next round, hoping that the prices will go up, and then worse, the prices actually end up going down. Also important to note that you can negate some luck to some extent by using the regional cards, which will let you peek at a mine before the bidding starts.
And the interaction turns what would otherwise be just another dry Euro into a game with some action. The auctioning of mines, it creates a dynamic landscape for economic shenanigans to occur. In one game, we all got caught up in this crazy bidding war. Everyone wanted mines, everyone wanted them now, they didn't want to be left out. So the round ended with everyone having a lot of mines and a lot of metal, but literally no money to extract it, which meant no victory points. Then the game became a savage battle for any components that would remove water so we could get the mines cheap enough to extract metal and make money. Nobody actually made any VP till about the 3rd round. Then in another one player just kept playing me and Tally off against each other and himself to the point where me and Tally were out of money, he didn't have any mines, and then he just swooped in and bought all the mines he wanted for £1 or £2 each. You get all kinds of experiences like this, but it's a game where you're always worried about losing out on something to someone else, and this keeps the tension high. On to the negatives. Tinner's Trail has a few elements that show its age. Like a lot of older games, if you're getting behind, falling behind, then it's very difficult to claw your way back up. There's no real catch-up mechanic, and because of the randomness and the interaction with other players, once the game or the other players shaft you, it's very likely you're going to remain in that position. Even worse, it has a tendency to demoralize you because 4 cubes of metal may not seem like a lot, but it can be the difference between 20 or 30 pounds. And when you convert this into points, it can be a huge gulf. So you can end up being 40, 50, 60 points behind at the end of a round. And yes, you might be able to get back from this, but the later in the game it happens, the less likely it is that you're going to have any kind of impact.
It's also not that expansive in that after minimal plays, you're going to be very familiar with all of the actions and pathways, combined with the fact that the core gameplay loop isn't that variable from game to game. The player interaction and the randomness does go a long way in extending the replayability, but we can see this being a game that you buy, thoroughly enjoy, and then get a little bit tired of and sell on. We're just not sure it's a game that we're going to want to play dozens and dozens of times. All that said, this is a box that can be picked up for between £30 to £35. The components, cards and artwork are quite beautiful, charming and high quality. The gameplay is simple yet engaging with a lot of decision space and player interaction. So we personally think this is worth picking up if you're a fan of economic games or Martin Wallace games. Not to mention that the expanded edition comes with 2 mini expansions to further develop the gameplay. Expansion 1 is the Arsenic expansion, in which you'll mine and sell arsenic for large sums of money, but with a permanent loss in available action points. Whilst it does present you with an interesting dilemma, it is pretty one note. You'll either do it or you won't. So it's fine to include, but nothing to mine home about.
Very good pun. The second mini expansion is called the Immigrant expansion. Here, when you take a miner from, I guess, the marketplace, you can swap it out for a personalized miner. And then at a later point, you can send your miner abroad to apply their skills and get you a big reward. Now, there's 4 different zones you can send them to, and all these zones have completely different yet equally difficult to choose between rewards. You got money, you got points, you got increase on selling stuff. It's all really interesting, and this expansion is terrific because it just really opens up the options available to players. The decision space becomes more interesting, and I don't think it's something I would ever play without after having included it.
So, should you pick this up? We reckon so, yeah. It's a well-designed Martin Wallace game that provides some of the economic crunch of Anno 1800 or Brass in a smaller, lighter and quicker manner. Is it better than those games? No, but it is also much cheaper and well worth the money for the gameplay and the lovely components.
It's also a lot more zany and interactive than Dry Euro has any right to be, so if that's something you like, then this is a game for you. Even better, it plays particularly well at all player counts, and they often feel different from one another. So the bottom line would be, it's not a must-have, but it's certainly something that's nice to have in your collection. So that was our review of Tinner's Trail, and we hope it was helpful. If it was, we would love if you could like and subscribe and support us. And if you have any questions about the game, please let us know down below. We're happy to comment.
Yep.
And now we're off to give the dogs treats.
Cornish pasties.
Cornish pasties.
That's what they want.
Yes. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. See you next time.
Bye.